What's up guys, it's Coach Justin from Ultimate Baseball Training, and in this video I'm going to share with you 7 bad infield mistakes to avoid. If you enjoy these instructional baseball videos and you want me to keep them coming, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate that. And without further ado, let's jump into the video. All right, mistake number 1 is no pre-pitch thinking. There's no worse feeling as an infielder as the pitch being thrown and you think you're ready to go and all of a sudden, boom, ball's hit and it's hit at you and you don't know what to do. And that really comes from a lack of pre-pitch thinking. So let's say the ball's in the catcher's glove, boom, it's a ball outside, and all of a sudden, he throws the ball back to the pitcher. Whatever your routine is, as you're kind of walking around the infield, adjusting the dirt a little bit, just be thinking about, remember the phrase, if this, then that. Really what you need to do is anticipate potential scenarios that could play out. If this, then that. So if the ball is hit to me, what am I doing? If the ball is hit, to right field or to center field or to left field, where am I going? Where am I lining up? Where's the play? If this, then that. If the ball is hit to my glove side, my forehand side, what am I doing there? Does it change if it's hit to my backhand side? So just having an understanding of the different situations that could play out. Number 1, what the situation is, and then number 2, what am I doing if the ball's hit to me? And number 3, if the ball's not hit to me, but it's hit somewhere else, where am I going? If you just do a little bit of this pre-pitch thinking, then once the play happens, it's like poetry in motion, and all of a sudden, you just react and it's so smooth, and you just, you go where you need to go and you make the play. But there's no worse feeling than not knowing, and there's no worse feeling than trying to think it through when the ball's on its way or when it's already there, okay? So just take the time, the 2 seconds, the game changes with every single pitch that's thrown. Take the time to do a little pre-pitch thinking. All right, mistake number 2 is when you're fielding a ground ball, having a poor glove angle. So what I mean by that, I field a ground ball right, left. What you really want to have happen is you want to have your fingers pointing down towards the ground. So if I obviously take my glove off here, my fingers are pointing down towards the ground here, and it's almost like my palm is facing the ball. My palm is facing forward, okay? So what that looks like with my glove on, boom, remember right, left footwork, nice flat back, I'm low to the ground here, my hands are out front like this, and I want my fingers down. This is what I mean by glove angle. I want my fingers down and my palm facing the ball or facing forward like this. But what I don't want is this. I don't want to be too flat, because what that does, you see how my wrist and my forearm here, that kind of, if I'm like this, my glove, my wrist and my forearm, it almost makes a ramp for the ball to just get up here, and then I'm gonna, bobble it, or it's gonna get behind me. I'm not gonna be able to make that play. So if you wanna be a consistent infielder, if you watch the best infielders in the game that do it at the highest level, you'll see that their glove is angled down towards the ground. I think the easiest way to think about it is just fingers down or palm to the ball. But this glove angle is gonna be much better than something like this that produces, a ramp-like effect. So work on proper glove angle. All right, so let's keep it moving with mistake number 3, and that is stabbing down at the ball. So what I'm talking about is as you approach a ground ball, kind of starting up here like this, and then at the last second, stabbing down. So you're basically working from up here and then trying to go down, versus, as we always talk about, starting low, starting from the ground and working up. And you have to realize that the way the human body works, our reactions are so much quicker when, we're coming in like this as opposed to away from our body. And I think that's a safety mechanism, because, let's say that something, a foreign object is thrown our way and we're not sure what it is, or we're playing golf and somebody says 4, we need to be able to protect ourselves and come in like this. And I think that's why your reactions are quicker. But this is one of those where I guarantee you've heard, start from the ground and work up before, but you need to check this, because this is an area where you can kind of get a little bit lazy, and as the ground ball is approaching, you can kind of start up here. And if you start up here, your glove is not on the ground and you're trying to work down, you're gonna find that you're gonna let a lot of balls get underneath your glove. So I really think you need to over-exaggerate this. Start with, especially if you're having a problem with this, start with your glove literally on the ground, not 2 inches above the ground, on the ground. You'll find most ground balls are not just gonna perfectly skate across the dirt. They're gonna have some hops to them, right? But it's so much easier to start with your glove literally on the ground and then react to bad hops like this. React up, start from the ground and work up. It's so much easier to do that than vice versa, trying to stab down at the ball, okay? So if you wanna handle bad hops easier, and if you wanna let less balls get underneath your glove, over-exaggerate it. Start with your glove on the ground, work up, don't stab down at it. So the next mistake, this one's a finer detail of infield play, and that is not keeping your chin down long enough. And what I really mean by that is you're taking your eyes off of the ball too soon. So this is, again, a very fine detail, but if you watch your favorite infielders, when a ground ball is hit their way and they approach the ball and the ball is a few feet from them, and just as they're fielding it, you'll notice that as the ball gets closer to their glove, their chin works down, and what they're doing is they're watching the baseball all the way into their glove, and they're securing the baseball before looking up towards their target. And you'll see that with their chin. It's like as the ball comes into their glove, their chin goes down. Whereas a lot of amateur infielders who, they just, and I get it, there's a base runner running up the line and you get, kind of excited because you want to make that play and you want to throw them out. But a lot of amateurs at the very last split second, instead of their chin working down as they field the ground ball, watching the ball all the way into their glove, their chin actually works this way. It works towards their target like this. So it's the very last second. Obviously you'd have to film yourself to really see yourself doing this, but try it out and let me know. It'd be interesting to see what you find. But I guarantee, if you get 50 ground balls hit your way in practice or whatever, sometimes your mind, you start working on other things and you'll find that instead of watching it all the way into your glove and having your chin work down like this, you'll find that at the last second, your eyes kind of shift. And so if your chin or your eyes are looking towards your target too soon, you're not focused on securing the baseball. Remember, we have to field the ball first, field it first before we make the play. So little finer detail, make sure your chin, and more importantly, make sure your eyes, you're just watching the ball all the way into your glove. Let's move on to mistake number 5, trying to force a play after you bobble it. Okay, so let's say there's a run around first base. We've got the double play in order here, and a ground ball has hit your way. It's setting up perfectly for a great double play, and all of a sudden the ball takes a bad hop. Or maybe you just fumble it. Sometimes you don't field it cleanly and you bobbled it, okay? As a general rule of thumb, after you bobble it, go to first base. Okay, general rule of thumb, first base, or if you bobble it and the ball gets away from you and there's not gonna be a play at first base, eat it, okay? Because, first of all, you wanna go to first because a for sure out, 1 out is better than no outs, or 1 out is better than throwing the ball away, having an error, right? So you need to, at that point in time, swallow your pride a little bit. You're probably not gonna turn this double play, but you can at least get 1 out, okay? Or if the ball gets too far away from you, it's a judgment call, and at that point in time, you didn't field it cleanly. It's better to eat it than, again, have a throw that's rushed and you throw the ball away, and now all of a sudden, these runs, they score. That's not a recipe for winning ball games, okay? So as a general rule of thumb, with very rare exceptions, when you bobble the baseball, go to first base if you still have time to make the play, but don't force it somewhere else. When in doubt, throw to first, or when in doubt, eat it if the ball gets too far away. Mistake number 6 applies when we're executing a double play. Let's talk a little bit about feeds, okay? Giving your partner a good feed. And the mistake is not keeping your arms straight when you give that feed, okay? So what I'm talking about here, ground ball, I'm trying to, get my momentum going towards my target. I'm close enough to where I'm gonna do an underhand feed to the second baseman here, okay? So I field it, and what you wanna have happen is your wrist and your arm, it has to stay in a straight line like this. You want to think about it almost like maybe a lever that can't move, right? The only direction it can move is just like this, okay? Back and forward, but you have to keep everything in a straight line. You cannot allow your wrist to come up like this, because when you do that, when you flip your wrist, the ball's gonna have a rainbow-like trajectory. It's not gonna be quick, it's not gonna be efficient, and it's not gonna be accurate either. So that's not a recipe for turning a double play, right? So be sure that you keep everything in a straight line, okay? Field it cleanly, get your momentum going towards your target, keep everything in a straight line, and that's a good double play feed that's chest high. The last mistake I want to cover in this video, this also applies when you're executing a double play, and that is feeding when you're too close and you should take it yourself. So as an example, if I field the ball, if it's a ball hit pretty much up the middle, and if I field it somewhere like right here, really close to the bag, I'm 9 times out of 10 better off just taking that myself and swiping the bag and throwing to first base, as opposed to being 2 infielders that are really bunched up and trying to, if I give my partner a feed right here and I'm right next to him, chances are he's not gonna have enough time to get a good read on where the baseball is going. He's probably gonna mishandle the ball and he's not gonna be able to turn it. So you're better off, it's a fine line, but you're better off being aggressive. If it's anywhere close and you can take it yourself, I encourage you to take it yourself. It's a fine line between that and an underhand feed distance, and a distance where it makes sense, honestly, to not do an underhand feed, but do, a sidearm feed or over the top, right? It's a fine line, but I think the biggest thing is communication. The shortstop and the second baseman have got to communicate. You've got to tell him if you're taking it yourself so that he can get out of the way, or the shortstop can get out of the way, vice versa, right? So I encourage you, as a rule of thumb, when it's close, there's nothing worse than bunched up infielders. Take it yourself, take charge, be aggressive, be greedy in this situation when it's close to the bag. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope it was helpful for you. If it was, please hit that thumbs up button, hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Go ahead and smash it right now, and subscribe to the channel. That way you never miss any of our upcoming videos. And last thing, hitters, I put together a free resource for you that's gonna help you take your hitting to the next level. It's called the Contact Point Checklist, and it's 100% free. You can click on the link down below in the description and go download that right now. But what I've done is I've freeze framed the swing at the point of contact, and I've highlighted a few key areas that you need to focus on. You need to make sure you're doing these things at the point of contact. Otherwise, you're leaving bat speed and you're leaving power on the table. So go download that right now. I know it's gonna help you. It's 100% free. Just click on the link down below. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.